You know who was put in charge of AI regulation in the Biden White House? Barack Obama. I mean, do I have to say anything else to you? There's got to be consequences for what went on. And we kind of do it in every way we can. And there's this interesting lawsuit we just filed. There are two things that are kind of interest to me here. The biggest one issue is whether the Justice Department can be trusted to prosecute anything political. And there was a case they had brought, a prosecution they had brought against a man in New Hampshire who had used an AI device of some type to create a facsimile of Joe Biden's voice and then provided evidently false information as alleged to voters. And so the government, the Biden Justice Department, prosecuted him. In February, an election consultant, Steve Kramer, commissioned a fake robocall using artificial intelligence to impersonate Joe Biden's voice to urge New Hampshire voters not to participate in the state's January 23rd primary. New Hampshire's Attorney General charged Kramer with 13 felony counts of voter suppression and 13 misdemeanor counts of impersonation of a candidate. Subsequently, the League of Women Voters filed a lawsuit against Kramer and other firms involved in the call. So what we want to know is what the Justice Department's role in all of this was. You know, and were they working with this third-party group to push this prosecution? And this is why we asked for records of the Office of Legal Counsel, including emails, text messages, voicemail messages, video conferencing, briefings, or other forms of record regarding the Voting Rights Act, the robocalls, and the company that were being prosecuted up in New Hampshire. Now, the easiest thing for them to have said to Judicial Watch, have handled this, would have been, the easiest way for them to have handled this was to say to Judicial Watch, we don't have anything. This is a New Hampshire case. Instead, we're getting the runaround. And the League of Women's Voters is, despite their reputation because of their name, a radical left-wing activist group. So their involvement suggests that this whole thing is political. And, you know, the outrage of the AI use of Biden's voice, I think, is interesting because, not that I think it's appropriate, if indeed these charges are true. I'm not even sure, you know, I'm not pretending to know whether the charges are appropriate or not under the law of New Hampshire. But I'm suspicious of selective prosecution in New Hampshire or with the assistance of the Justice Department, because I don't trust any of them. And was this a favor to the Biden administration or the Biden campaign? I don't know. This is why we're asking the questions and we can't get answers. But the left is, speaking of censorship, the left is obsessed with controlling AI outputs. Not because they're concerned that AI will lead to like a destruction of civilization. It's because they are concerned that AI will worsen what they believe to be misinformation and disinformation. They want to censor AI outputs to be in compliance with their worldview. So when they talk about AI regulation, they're talking about manipulating information that you would gain from AI to benefit the left and their political allies. So that's the way to think about AI regulation whenever you hear it. There's AI regulation that would, you know, in theory have some public safety component. As a conservative, I'm skeptical of government regulation being able to figure out how to regulate anything. Government regulators being able to figure out how to regulate anything. But when the left talks about AI regulation, let me put it this way. You know who was put in charge of AI regulation in the Biden White House? Barack Obama. I mean, do I have to say anything else to you? So this story has a twofer aspect of it. We want to know if they were doing a favor for the Biden gang, who they were working with in prosecuting this guy for these alleged phone calls. And secondly, it's an indication that they are very concerned about AI being used successfully to empower Americans to understand the political process more with, quote, unapproved information. So it's Big Brother in reverse, right? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.